Not even a single participant has joined. Siddesh, what is the total count of the individuals?
We are expecting 10 users.
How many free and how many paid?
Paid one are 3 and rest 7 are free.
ठीक है. Okay, let's wait.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible? Hi, am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
All right, great. So, welcome to Certified Web3 Community Expert Training. My name is Kajal. I will be your trainer for this training. So we'll start with the brief introduction about ourselves so that we get to know each other better. So my experience is in IT and I hold close to decade of experience in technical training, majorly in blockchain domain. Major tech stack include Ethereum, Hyperledger, and I'm based in India right now. I would like to understand from the participants what are your expectations from the course, and if you can just give your brief intro so that we are aligned on the expectation, and from there we'll take it forward. So anyone who would like to introduce?
I would like to introduce myself. My name is Alok, and I have been working on AI. Like if you look recently, generative AI, and also I'm working there. I'm interested into blockchain, and I'm totally new to this, so I'm not aware of all this concept. And like in metaverse also, I'm not knowing much of the things. I'm just interested to see what is there.
All right, great. Thank you for your introduction, Alok. Anyone else?
Yeah, my name is Sajan. I'm based in Dubai, and I have done a couple of courses from Blockchain Council. So I just got this invite, so I joined in. So just hoping to learn a little more about Web3 concepts.
Great. Thank you, Sajan. So we are expecting a few more participants. So let me check if we can get started already. We are getting late by 7 minutes. Let me check and then we'll start. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. Actually, we were waiting for other participants to join. So let's get started. Welcome to the training, Certified Web3 Community Expert. So I'll be just sharing my screen and we will be starting with the expectation setting. Is my screen visible to everyone? So is the screen visible? Can anyone please confirm?
Yes, we can see you.
All right, thank you for the confirmation. So so let's get started. So we will be firstly talking about what exactly this certification will entail. So basically, when we talk about certified Web3 community experts, so we will be talking about the professionals who will have the in-depth knowledge about Web3. And in the Web3, specifically the concepts around metaverse, DAO, NFT. Also, the professional who knows how to handle and how to actually engage the community across the platforms which are popular, like your Discord, Telegram, Twitter, etc. So majorly, this certification will be focused on Web3 technology and the knowledge which is associated with it for the community building in Web3. The purpose, as I already explained, is to explore the entire Web3 ecosystem, including the concepts like DAO, NFT, DeFi, blockchain, along with the various platforms which are used to engage the community. We will understand how to build a community on these popular platforms from scratch. Now, what are the benefits of this certification? Definitely, you will gain deeper insights around the Web3 ecosystem, and you will be building your expertise in this Web3 space, and you will be understanding the roles and responsibilities of Web3 community manager. Coming to prerequisite, so as such, there are no hard skills which are required. For example, any specific technical knowledge, but yeah, basic computer literacy is required. It is good to have basic knowledge of blockchain and Ethereum. But again, if it is not there, we will be starting from very scratch. So that's why in the beginning, I asked about the expectation from the course and the background of the participant, so that we are aligned on the expectation. Please feel free to add on if you have any other expectations as well. And if you want to share what you already know about these technologies. So motivation, in my opinion, is the biggest factor. So if you are motivated enough to learn about it, so it will be very easy to gain expertise in this domain. Now, when we talk about this certification, so this training will be of 6 hours, including break. And then you will have 1 hour of assessment. When we say assessment, so it is basically MCQs which are focused on the training material and this training. So training is definitely online, and you can learn it according to your availability and pace. When we talk about the certification exam, so it's MCQ based questions, and there will be 100 questions for 100 marks. In order to clear the certification, you need to score 60 marks. In case you fail the exam, you can retake it after 1 day. And there are maximum of 3 attempts which are there. Unfortunately, if you are not able to clear it, you can obviously contact Blockchain Council team to have the manual assistance from them, and they will be helping you out in this. When we talk about the certification, so this is how your certification will look like. It will have the certification name, your name, and this is how you will be given the certification. Going ahead, when we talk about the content of this training, so this training is divided into 11 modules. So we have structured it in such a manner that even if you don't know things around blockchain, you're not aware of concepts of DeFi, FT, you will be able to pick up because we will be having it from scratch. So first module is focused on basically your when we talk about first module, so first module is this one only, where we are going through the content and the structure of the training and all those things. Then the second module is about Web3. So when we talk about Web3 again, blockchain technology is a central tenet to that entire concept. So we'll talk about blockchain, we'll talk about Ethereum and smart contract, we'll talk about DeFi. In nutshell, we'll talk about NFT, metaverse, and we will be going through the overview of Web 1 and Web 2. It's very important to understand like Web 1 and Web 2 in order to grasp the Web 3 concepts, why it is important, what are the core ideas, which is our module 3, and how actually your Web 3 works, what all are challenges of Web 3, what are actually the statistics which are there around Web 3. And then we will go for module 4, which is around the community management, role of the community, online community, and what are the problems. We'll talk about the Web3 community manager. We'll talk about how a professional can become a Web3 community manager. And then we will move to module 5, which is focused on building community in Discord. So we'll take an overview of Discord, how we can set up Discord server, and what are the best practices while making Discord community. We'll also talk about the role of administrator, moderators in Discord, and we will understand how we can determine the roles. We'll organize the channel. We'll also talk about paid service of Discord, which is Discord Nitro, and we will also understand the security practices around Discord. Then we will go for module 6, which is community building in Telegram. We'll understand Telegram feature and we will see how we can build the community in the Telegram as well. After that, we will go for the top Web3 community management tool and platform. We will see the platforms. We will see the community discovery tools. We'll talk about gated community tools. Also, we will talk about event tool and community engagement tools. After that, we will be focusing on how we can build the community around the NFT, around the DAO or metaverse. So building the NFT community, types of NFT community members. We will talk about how we can get started with the DAO community. We will also talk about popular DAO community building tools and the metaverse building tools. So apart from that, we will be talking about the rewards and incentives around the Web3 community. We will also see some of the projects which have very unique incentive model to understand how actually this reward and incentive works. And we will be going through the popular communities which are there and the companies. And lastly, in module 11, we will be talking about the challenges which are there to build a strong Web3 community, what are the tips and tricks which we can inculcate for creating a thriving Web3 community. So these are the 11 modules. So we will be focusing on our module 2 now. Module 1 is this one only, where we are talking about the course content, certification, how to, what is the process of clearing the certification. If there are any question, thought, comments, please let me know. Else we will start with our module, which is your module 2. All right. So let's talk about the overview of the blockchain technology. So firstly, we have to understand what is blockchain. So when we talk about Web3, so as we know that Web3 is built around this technology. So blockchain, we have to understand in very simple terms, is a database which stores your data. When we say blockchain, let's deconstruct this word. So it's basically chain of blocks, and blocks contain your data. So each block is going to contain the information, which can be your transaction, which can be your education credential, or any data it can hold. So block are generally containing the information about the parties which are involved in transaction and the information that is going to distinguish them from the other block. Also, this technology is secured by a mechanism called hashing. So we'll talk about that. What is hashing? For now, we can understand that security aspect is taken care by this concept. So when we say blockchain transaction life cycle, so let's understand how actually it is going to work. So here, let's say someone requests a transaction. Assume that I have to transfer 5 Bitcoin to another person. That is transaction. So what that transaction will do is that transaction will basically be broadcasted on the peer-to-peer network. So here we can see in blockchain, what happens is, instead of having a centralized server, we have the database which is present on all the participating nodes, or you can say the computer. And then what will happen is miners will verify the transaction. And then here the transaction will be combined to form a data block. And then the new block will be added to the blockchain and the transaction is complete. Now, in order to understand this transaction life cycle, let's take a step back and understand what exactly is blockchain, how it differs. So for now, let's say if you are using any application, so let's take an example of an application used for, let's say, creating or let's say booking a movie ticket. So whenever you have to book a movie ticket, maybe you might be using any specific application for that. So there are 3 aspects of that application. One is the front end through which user is going to interact. So this is the front end. So here, let's say you have requested to see like what all is the status of the seats in the theater, seat availability. You have to check in order to book it. So you will put a request, you'll put that on the website or whatever is the application. Now that request will go to your middle layer, which is called API. Now API will do what? It will help 2 applications to communicate with each other. Now API will send your request to the database. Now this database can be any database, let's say Firebase by Google or any other database it can be. So what we'll do is, let's say we have this database. I'm just naming it as, it is also called as backend. naming it as database or backend. Now, this is our normal application. It can be a movie ticket booking application or any other application you use in your day-to-day life. Now, in case of blockchain technology, how this application will vary. So the same process will be there. You will have a front end. You will have the middle layer, which is API. What changes is this part. Instead of having a single centralized server or database, what you have is you have multiple computers. These are the multiple computer, which is called peer-to-peer network. They all are connected to each other. So basically, they are connected to each other. And instead of having a one single database, you have the copy of database present on each of this computer. So here, this is the difference. And this is what is, so this basically, this is a copy of a database, and this database is your blockchain. Now, when we talk about blockchain, so I'll just quickly go through the very simplified version of it. So blockchain, here is your chain of blocks. What that chain of block will contain? It will contain data, hash code, and previous hash. Now, the question comes, what is hash? So hash is simply you convert your input to a fixed length output. For example, let's say if I'm writing something, so you can see this is the data, but this is converted into this hash, which is non-readable fixed length output. This is called hashing. So what each block will contain? Data, hash, and the hash of previous block. So that is what hashing is. Now, hashing makes it very, very secure, because every block will not only contain its own hash, but also contain the hash of previous block. So it's very difficult for hacker to break into it. So that is what hashing is. And hashing is a one-way algorithm. That means you can get the output from the input. Like, for example, let's say if I'm writing this blockchain here, getting this output. But from this output, I cannot get back the blockchain. That is one way. You can get this from this, but this from this is not possible. Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry, there was some technical issue. So, yeah, let's get started again. I'll just share my screen. So we were talking about the overview of blockchain technology. So yeah, we were talking about the blockchain life cycle. So firstly, when we say blockchain, so it's a chain of blocks, and these are connected to each other by a technology called hash. And this hashing is simply converting the input in the fixed length output. So here, what we are doing is we are talking about the transaction life cycle. So when someone requests a transaction, it is going to be broadcasted on a peer-to-peer network, which are basically the computers connected. And then this transaction is going to be verified by each of the computer. And finally, that transaction will be combined with other data in the block, and that block will get added to the blockchain. So that is how the transaction works in blockchain. Now, going ahead, this is how your blockchain looks like. So we have this Genesis block, which is block 0. Then we have this block 1, block 2, block 3. Here, each block is connected with the hash. So we can see here SHA-256, which is nothing but hash. This is a Genesis block, which is block 0. Then we have block 1. So here in this, we have the nonce. Nonce is simply a unique number which is required to add the block to the blockchain. SHA-256 is the hashing algorithm. Same way we have block 2, we have block 3. This is how these blocks are connected. So SHA-256 of block 2 is present here also. So thereby forming a chain. What makes the blockchain different? So as I was already explaining, there is no central authority. The database is distributed across the multiple computer in a peer-to-peer network. Every transaction is verifiable, so you can check its verifiability. There is no intermediary. So let's say if I have to transfer 5 Bitcoin from person A to person B. So I'll not be going through the banking route. I can just directly do the peer-to-peer transfer. That is disintermediation. Then definitely by the cryptography and hashing, the technology, we are very sure that our transaction is going to be confidential and it is going to maintain the integrity. And lastly, the robustness. So let's say in a centralized system, you have just one single database. So what happens is, let's say one fine day that database goes down, or let's take an example of Google database, Firebase. So any application which is built on that, so if one fine day Google decides that I'll not display this particular information to the people of a particular geography, they can do that. However, in the blockchain, even 1 or 2 node will go down or computer will go down. Rest of the other computer in the network will be able to provide that information. So it is very, very robust. So that is what the blockchain technology is in short. If there are any questions around the blockchain, please let me know. So in nutshell, when we say blockchain, so it's simply the combination of the blocks. So here we can see this is the blockchain demo where we have a block and we have multiple blocks which are attached to each other. This is the previous hash and the current hash. So they are connected to each other with the hash. And then we say about when we say what is exactly blockchain, it's nothing but database. It stores your data. So that's about it. Now let's move to the third part, which is the Ethereum. So again, it's a second module. And in the second module, we have the another concept, which is Ethereum and the smart contract. So here, first of all, let's talk about what is Ethereum. So when we talk about Ethereum, so Ethereum is simply the blockchain, one of the type of the blockchain. Like Bitcoin is one of the type. Then you have Solana. You have various other blockchains. One of them is Ethereum. Now the question comes, why we are talking about Ethereum here only? Why not the other blockchain? Because most of the applications like your DeFi, DAO, your NFTs are built on the top of this blockchain. That's the purpose. So it's again a decentralized blockchain-based software with smart contract functionality. Now, when we say smart contract, so it's simply you can write the contract as a programming code on your blockchain, and then you can execute it. For example, let's say if I have to create a kind of a contract where I'll say if my age exceeds 60, I want to transfer this particular property to my kids. So in that case, in case of physical contract, I have to go through to a third party. I have to document that, and then I need a third party to further implement that contract once the age exceeds 60. In case of smart contract, what will happen? This code will be written in a programming language and it will be stored on the blockchain. And as soon as my age will exceed 60, it will automatically trigger the transfer of the property to my kids. That is called your smart contract. So here, another way when we can say Ethereum is simply that you can simply understand Ethereum is your world's second largest digital currency. It supports world's second largest digital currency, which is Ether. Ethereum is a blockchain, and the cryptocurrency which is involved is Ether. Here we can build smart contract, and here you can basically run the network without any downtime. Downtime is simply even one or two node will go down or computer will go down. Still, you will be able to transfer the data, and there will be no third-party intervention. So here, Ethereum is the well-known programming language. Again, when we say Ethereum, on Ethereum, the programming language is Solidity. So when we compare the Bitcoin and Ethereum, so you can see here the symbol by which we represent is Bitcoin is BTC. Then you have Ethereum. Founder is a mysterious person or group of person called Satoshi Nakamoto. And then in the Ethereum, you have the founder as Vitalik Buterin. In Bitcoin, we have smallest unit, which is 1 Satoshi, and which is your 1 raised to the power 8 BTC. And here 10 raised to the power 8 BTC. And here the smallest unit is Wei, which is Wei is simply 10 raised to the power 18 ETH. In Bitcoin, we do have the hard capping on the maximum supply, which is this much of the Bitcoin. In Ethereum, the purpose is not, it's just not only the cryptocurrency, it is purpose is even widespread, like your smart contract, your application. So there is no fixed supply. Here in the block reward, you have the reward of 6.25 BTC for Bitcoin. For Ethereum, it's just 2 ETH. Then we have miners. Here, miners collect the transaction fee. In this case, it is gas fee. When we talk about consensus algorithm, consensus is the way of arriving at a decision. Since as there are various computers, or you can say the nodes involved in the network, you need a mechanism to arrive at a single decision, like how they are going to validate any transaction or add a block to the blockchain. For that, Bitcoin follows proof of work. Proof of work is simply the way of adding a transaction or validating a transaction. Here, each of the computer involved, they try to solve a mathematical puzzle. And the one who solves the mathematical puzzle first will be able to add the block to the blockchain. In case of Ethereum, this comes in form of staking. Those who want to validate the transaction or add a block to a blockchain, they stake some of the ethers to do so. So that is how the Bitcoin and Ethereum, they differ. When we talk about smart contract, so smart contract, as I already said, that it refers to the computer code that is going to allow for your transparent and conflict-free exchange of money or any thing which involves any value without any intermediate. So smart contract are designed by your computer programmers. Obviously, they are the computer code. So if we talk about how actually the smart contract looks like, so I'll just go through this IDE, which is the Remix IDE. We'll not go to the programming side of it. We'll just see how actually the smart contract looks like. So this is an IDE where in this form, we do have the smart contract. So let me go through this is the auction smart contract, where we have auction mechanism. So this is written in Solidity. So here, this is a code which is written. So let's say you might have seen platform like eBay and all, where you can buy any product through auction mechanism. So same way this contract is written, and you can just simply deploy it on the blockchain. Deployment means this code will reside on the blockchain. And now anyone can further interact with it using your functions of the code. So these are the, so like, for example, placement of bid and all these things, finalizing auction, all these things. So this is how the smart contracts look like. Coming back. So here, basically, these contracts are there on the blockchain. So they are immune to any kind of change. There is no downtime. You cannot simply have any kind of downtime here. And also there is no third party interference. So that is how your smart contract work. If there are any question, comments, thought, please let me know. All right. So let's proceed with the next concept, which is DeFi. So first of all, we have to understand what is DeFi. So decentralized finance is simply you are carrying out all the financial activity on a decentralized network. So it's basically, there are a lot of things which comes under your decentralized finance, and major applications are built on the top of Ethereum blockchain. Why? Because it provides you the smart contract functionality where you can create dApps or decentralized application. Now, what is the aim of this decentralized finance? It's simply to provide the financial services which are not bound to a particular geography. Also, there is no middleman involved. So what are characteristics of a decentralized finance? So it is not going to involve any third party. By name itself, it's decentralized. So it's not going to be operated by any centralized authority. So it relies on the smart contract feature, and it doesn't require any, you can say, entity which is going to basically intermediate between the two parties involved in the transaction. Then it is governed by the crowd's wisdom. When we say crowd wisdom, so it's basically, it is all the transactions are carried in accordance to the user. Very easy to enter, Why? Because you don't need any kind of document or like any kind of, you can say, IDs and all. Why? Because you just simply need a internet connection. You need an internet connection and a wallet to enter into it. So here, wallet in the sense that where you can store your cryptocurrency. Obviously, the protocols which are there in the DeFi, they are all decentralized. So here, they are also open source. So community is driving all these initiatives. Also, they are truly global. When we talk about global, so the products, the DeFi products are not customized according to specific geography. Let's say you are sitting in America, someone is sitting in Asia. So you'll not be able to see difference in the product. Let's say we talk about Amazon website. Amazon website might look different in Australia. It might look different in India and totally different in Africa based on the user's preference on all those things, and they customize it. But here the products are not customized for a specific country per se. So that is the another characteristics. What are the advantages? Since DeFi, all the DeFi application are hosted on blockchain, so they are very transparent. They are immutable. Immutability feature comes by the technology of hashing and cryptography. Cryptography is simply the way of securing your information. There are various algorithms involved which makes your data immutable. Then interoperability. Interoperability is simply that here, let's say one DeFi application, it can work on various other blockchains as well. They can interoperate. Also among the applications also, let's say one application is related to decentralized finance, another application is related to ICO. So they have the interoperability. They can interact with each other. And since it's a decentralized one, so there is no single point of failure. It's very robust. So these are the advantages of DeFi. So this is about the overview of DeFi. Please let me know if there are any thoughts, questions, comments till here. All right. So for those of you who are interested to learn more about DeFi, so please go through some of the applications, famous applications of DeFi. So this is Uniswap protocol, which is a decentralized exchange, very famous protocol for exchanging your cryptocurrency. Same way you have SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, you have various other protocols in DeFi space. So I'll appreciate if you go through it. It will give you more clarity, like how actually crypto trading works, how actually you can use the platforms and all. So now let's come back to our next topic, which is understanding the DAO. Let me close the other ones. So again, this is very interesting topic, DAO. So when I talk about DAO, DAO stands for your decentralized autonomous organization. So here we are creating the organization on the top of blockchain. So here the decentralized autonomous organization, they allow people to coordinate and self-govern based on the rules which are published on the blockchain. Now, they are also, there can be one question, let's say, even if they are decentralized, they are autonomous, but then they can be tampered by the people who are developing them. But they are also isolated from the developer unless or until you have something in the code which involves their further coordination. Otherwise, they are isolated from the developer as well. So what is the implementation of DAO? We'll understand that. But when we talk about DAO, it's simply the member-owned community without any centralized leadership. Also, let's say if you want to create like let's say an organization where you want to raise funds, a crowdfunding organization you want to create. Now, in that case, in order to raise fund globally, you need to create an organization which has global presence. Now, question comes how to trust those online strangers. So DAO, with the DAO, we can do that because here we are not trusting the strangers, we are trusting the technology, which is your blockchain technology. So definitely the money which will be raised will be secure because we have the mechanism, we do have various cryptography algorithm to further secure that. Now, when we talk about DAO example, so there are various examples in the DAO. So first of all, even the DeFi platform, many of the DeFi platform has DAO as an organization backing them. So another use case of DAO can be your firms which are raising the funds for charity and all. Then it can be also applicable in banking, healthcare. Also, it can be there for venture funds. So these are some of the examples. Now, when we compare DAO with a traditional organization, what's the change? So a typical organization, if you have to create it, it might take a lot of time depending on the geography where you are in. In case of DAO, you can create it very, very easily. There is no paperwork involved as such. You don't have to complete any documentation. And also, you do have smart contract which back the DAO so that you can automate various things or various functions of the organization rather than going through the paperwork. So what is the difference? So there is a funding difference. So generally what happens is in any company, the funding typically comes from the founding members initially. Now, those who are involved in the funding, they definitely expect a ROI, return on investment for that. And they also influence the organization decision. However, in case of DAO, what happens is the investors who are going to invest in the DAO, they generally have the power to govern as well. So DAO, simply there are various members, and these members can become owners, or you can say can have a say in functioning of the organization. So anyone who is interested in being the part of the DAO, they can purchase the token to have say in the project direction. There are structural differences as well. So if we talk about the structural difference, so generally in normal organization, what happens is you have this kind of structure, which is traditional top down. You have at the top, you have CEO, then you have CTO, CFO, and all those things. And then the hierarchy goes like this. In decentralized autonomous organization, we don't have this kind of structure. So why? Because here everyone has a say in the, they can influence the decision of the company. Why? Because they have the token and they can vote for the decisions. That is the essence of DAO. And where it is created on the top of the blockchain. If we talk about the difference, so there are certain differences. Organization structure. In DAO, it is democratic. In traditional organization, it is hierarchical. Then when we talk about voting, so in case of DAO, for any change, the voting is required. In traditional organization, that is not the case. Generally, in closed door conversation in closed rooms, you can just simply take any decision. In governance also, the DAO is based on community. In traditional organization, you do have the board of directors, executives, they take the decision. Since DAO is built on the top of the blockchain, it's very transparent and public because DAO is it's basically created on the top of the public blockchain. So it is fully public. Anyone can see what's going on. However, in the traditional organization, very less public involvement is there. Since DAO has a feature of smart contract, most of the functioning is automated. In traditional organization, it requires a lot of paperwork, human handling, all these things. So this is the difference between DAO and the traditional organization. So this is in short about DAO. Please let me know if there are any questions. All right. So now let's go for the next part of DAO. We'll understand that. Now, when we talk about DAO, how it actually works. So here, its decisions are generally taken by all the members which are associated, and how they take it by holding the tokens. Tokens are simply, you can say, they are the way to facilitate the voting and the decision making among the members. Now, the DAO generally uses smart contract, which is, again, as I showed you, it's simply the code written in a programming language that automatically execute itself whenever there is a condition or there is some trigger. So here, these smart contract, they define the policies or the regulations of the organization. Those who have stake or those who hold the token of the DAO, they have voting right, and they can also decide or make new policies which will generally influence how this company is going to work. So everyone in DAO is having their own incentive to agree on the suggestion that is going to support the protocol. Why? Because every token holder will want that their token value should increase, and the token value will increase only when they take decision in the benefit of the protocol itself. So that's the purpose. Now, DAO key feature is that it is community-led organization, and there is a incentive involved for all the members. So that's how it runs on the crowd's wisdom or the members' wisdom. Now, what are the steps involved? So whenever you have to create DAO, the first step is to, let's say we talk about any organization. If you have to create any organization, you have to definitely decide the rules. You have to decide the policies. Now for that, there are two ways. In case of the normal organization, you go by the documentation. In case of DAO, you create smart contracts. So here, what is smart contract? Simply the contract which is written in a programming language and which is deployed on the blockchain. So the core group of programmer and community member, they create the set of rules using smart contract, and then these smart contract will decide how your DAO is going to function. So here, once the founding team is going to establish the rules using smart contract, only the members of the DAO can change the rules by the voting, or whatever is the governance structure which is being followed, they can only change. Also, here the DAO decides how they are going to carry out the governance, how they are going to get the funds. So what happens is, for funding, they issue tokens. Token represent, you can understand it like a share. They represent a portion of ownership in a company. Now, these tokens are offered for sale. Like we have IPO in general companies, which is initial public offering. Same way here we have ICO, which is initial coin offering. You issue token and then you raise money for the DAO's treasury. And those who buy these tokens, they are going to get the voting right in return for their investment. And finally, once you are done with your smart contract, you are done with your funding, then you do the deployment. So The deployment is simply you put your code on the blockchain. So once it is on blockchain, it becomes tamper proof. Now the token holders are going to decide the policies and they are going to influence the decision of DAO. So the community voting process is taken into consideration to arrive at any decision. So generally, for each token, one vote is considered, and through this voting mechanism, the decisions are taken in the DAO. So this is about DAO. If there are any questions around DAO, please let me know. If you want to understand DAO a little more, this is a very good website to understand about it, which is called Aragon. What it does is, even if you are not from the technical background or IT background, so what you can do is you can simply launch your DAO in few minutes. So they give you the entire step-by-step process. First, they will tell you what is DAO, which we just went through. This is the same organization that runs with smart contract on a public blockchain. So you can go through it. Very, very informative website, which tells you about the nitty-gritty about DAO, and then how the structure of the DAO works, what is treasury, what all permissions are there, how decision making takes place, and what are the use cases of DAO. So generally, in case of crowdfunding, charity, venture funds, this is the use case. Social clubs, all these things. And then it talks about how you can create it. For creation also, you just have to connect the wallet. So you can download any wallet. I'm using MetaMask for it. So here, if you simply use this, you can just download this wallet, which is MetaMask. And after that, once you connect your wallet with this, then you can simply start creating your own DAO. So you can just click on create DAO, and then they will ask you certain set of questions like select blockchain, describe your DAO, define who all are going to be the members, what all governance you want. So with that, you can just simply click on each step, you can follow the step, and then actually you can visualize how this DAO thing works. So just click on build your DAO, and then you can select which blockchain you want to do. So let's say I want to go for Girly, which is a test blockchain. You can give your DAO name, you can give the logo, description, all these things. And after that, you can choose the governance structure. You can also issue token. Very intuitive platform to understand. Without any language of coding, you can understand how actually this entire thing works. So you can always go through it. I'll just paste this link in chat. Let me paste it. Okay, I'll just do it towards the end of it. And now, yeah, if there are any question, thought, comments, please let me know. I'll be pasting all the reference link towards the end of the session. All right, let's go for the next one, which is the non-fungible token. Let me close this. So what is NFT? It has been a buzzword for a while now. So anyone who would like to share their thoughts on what is NFT? Anyone? Whatever you know about NFT. Am I audible? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone who would like to share what is NFT? Any knowledge you have on this? All right. So let me take it then. So NFT is simply, when we say NFT, it's a non-fungible token. So first of all, let's talk about token. What is token? It's simply an asset. Like let's say you have the reward points, you have loyalty points, all these are tokens. When we say fungible token, so fungible token is simply, fungibility is simply, let's say if I have a $10 note, you have a $10 note, my note will work similarly as yours. In case of non-fungible is a word for uniqueness. So fungible is something that can be traded. Non-fungible is something where you cannot replace. So NFTs are completely unique. You cannot have the replica of it. So here, that's what the non-fungible token is. So generally, these Bitcoin and Ether, they have fungibility as the characteristics. When we talk about NFT, so NFT is a unique, you can say, a kind of token which has its own owner and features. So what are the properties of NFT? So it's rare. You can program it. You cannot divide NFT. You can trace it by the metadata, and obviously it is going to have unique properties. Now, when we talk about examples, so you might have heard of CryptoKitties. So CryptoKitties is simply a game where you can breed the digital collectibles, which is kitties or so let me take you through that. So basically, this is a different one. No, this is, yeah, this is the one. So basically here, these are the cats which are being created, which are, each cat is unique. And they are created and they are stored on the blockchain. So same way you can have, let's say you can have another kind of NFT, maybe a digital collectible of, let's say, any painting or something like that. So that is also an NFT. So these are the NFT properties. Now, what does owning an NFT means? So simply owning an NFT means you can prove your ownership. It cannot be changed. You can obviously trade it, and obviously you can keep it on your wallet as well as an asset. I will just walk you through one of the NFT marketplace, which is OpenSea. Here, generally, what we do is we trade in NFT. So you can see these are all NFTs. So here, even the price is listed. So that these are the examples of NFT. They are traded on the marketplace. One of the marketplace example is OpenSea. You can have multiple other marketplace like Rareable, Super Rare. These are all other examples as well. And I'll just open one of them. So let's open this one. So this is one of the NFT. So you can see here. And here it's all the trades and all the details are mentioned, and the price and all. The owner is also mentioned. So that is how your NFT works. Yeah. So let's resume. Sorry, there was some issue. So I'll just share my screen once again. So we were talking about the NFT, and we talked about the overview of NFT. We were talking about the marketplace, the NFT marketplace, which is this OpenSea. Same way we have the other marketplace as well, like your super rare, rareable, etc. Now let's proceed with another one, which is your another topic, which is metaverse. So again, lately it has been a buzzword, metaverse. So let's understand how this concept is related to blockchain. So when we talk about metaverse, so basically it's a virtual space where you can have the like your 3D entities. So when we talk about your blockchain, how the concept of blockchain is used in metaverse. So it involves the usage of, let's say you have to trade in metaverse. So definitely you are going to use cryptocurrency for that, like your Bitcoin, Ether. Obviously, again, if you want some immersive experience, so you will be using the your AR, VR, mixed reality. Also, we use the concept of NFTs as well in metaverse. So when we talk about metaverse, so it's not just a one technology, it's whole array of technologies which is being used. So it's a combination of technologies like your blockchain, AR, VR, MR, all these things. So what we have is, at the base, we have the digital ledger and the smart contract. On the top of it, you have hardware. Then you have your programming language. Also, you have different standards of media. For example, if you have images, so open standards of media. And finally, you have internet. So these are the basic foundation technologies which are be there. And these are the components of the metaverse. Now, the metaverse, you can just break it down into two kinds of platform. One is the blockchain based. So in metaverse, it is based on two platforms. One is extended reality, another is blockchain. Inside the blockchain, you have the concept of cryptocurrency, NFT, and other blockchain technologies. In extended reality, you have the concept of AR, VR, and MR. So when we talk about AR, VR, and MR, so AR, VR is virtual reality simply when you have any virtual experience. When you are also present in that experience, that is your augmented reality. And when you combine all these concepts, it forms the concept of your mixed reality. So all these experiences you have, they are XR based. Also, there is a concept of NFT. So where you have the, let's say, if you have the images, you have take an example of Decentraland, which is again a platform where you have lands. So the land is unique, which is a case of NFT. So here in metaverse, you do have various avatars. You do have the gaming objects. They all serve as NFTs. And that is why we call this metaverse technology as a combination of various technologies like NFT, blockchain, your AR, VR, XR. Now, how actually the metaverse work? So in metaverse also, you do have the blockchain as the basic layer. So here, the blockchain is the major, you can say, layer which is kind of a database And generally, most of the metaverse platforms are built on the top of Ethereum blockchain. And here, again, we do have decentralized network where multiple computers are connected to one another. So that is how the blockchain is serving as the fundamental layer of the metaverse. And also in the blockchain, you do have the consensus feature, which is going to give the high level security to the metaverse. Then we do have the concept of portability. So any content which you have on metaverse, that can be ported to another network without any interference. So these are the two basic features of metaverse. This is how the metaverse works. So metaverse is hosted on the top of the blockchain, and then you have the feature of portability. So if there are any questions, thought, comments, please let me know. All right. So now we already have this overview of metaverse. We already talked about what is metaverse. We talked about the basic foundations and how it works. Now let's see one example of metaverse. So there are various examples actually. You can have various use cases like Decentraland, Sandbox. These are all the examples. Another example is this one. I'll just show you, which is a web-based metaverse platform. So here you can see you have this platform where there are various spaces. So let's visit one of them. So let's visit this one. So you can see this is a platform. Here there is a video also there to give you a walkthrough of it. And this is how you can see, this is one of the example of the metaverse. So we can see we have a smart TV. This is again a home which is created in the metaverse. Now, what all can be the technology? So this is definitely hosted on the top of the blockchain. Various, if you want to do various transaction, let's say instead of this home, you have a different metaverse, let's say a kind of art gallery you have in metaverse. So definitely you can trade using cryptocurrency on that particular metaverse. So you can see various use cases of the metaverse here. So this is one of the example where you have a 3D virtual space, and you do have this concept of blockchain, which is the metaverse is hosted on the top of the blockchain. So this is about the metaverse in a brief. If there are any questions, please let me know. So far, we have gone through the concept of blockchain, NFT, DeFi, metaverse. These are the basics we are going through so that we understand how to build the community around it. So we are not going into the technical side of it, which is because it is outside the scope of this training. We are going to the practical aspects of it, how we can use it, how we can build a community around it. So that's the objective, that's the scope of this training. If there are any questions, any thought, comments, let me know. Else we will start with the overview of Web1 and Web2 in order to understand Web3 in great details. All right. So let's talk about Web1. What is Web1? If you remember back in 1990s, the websites were very static, just read-only content. In 1990s, the Tim Berners-Lee, who is also considered as the father of or creator of internet. So he also created the HTML, which is hypertext markup language. So in that era, Generally, the internet was limited to the capabilities like email and like read-only content, news and all. Then came Web 2. Now, Web 2 brought the element of interactivity. So now you can not only read, you can also interact or write the content. Now, this was further aided by the advent of mobile internet connectivity, the social networking website and all. So actually, with the shift, there were many industries, they had a significant impact on their functioning. So for example, the Web 2 changed how the advertising, media and all they work, changed it entirely, changed the entire model. So those who failed to adopt, they actually vanished from the business at all. So here, what were the features of Web 2? So first of all, you can not only read, you can also retrieve the data, you can write. There were dynamic material, you can just write in the input and all those things. And you can comment on the social media website. Then you can also have API for self-use. You can access the basically the internet. You can access the net and just there was also in Web 2, there was the issue of like large user base. So from Web 1 to Web 2, the user base also increased. So that these were the things. What were the problems with Web 2? When we talk about problems, obviously there was a compromise on security. So whenever you say I agree to terms and services, you just tick mark that. So you compromise on a lot of your personal data. You give the personal information to third party, which is generally being sold, or maybe they use that to give you customized ads and all. Also, censorship of the information. So for example, let's say if a company based in Asia don't want the company, don't want the people in, let's say, Middle East to see some information, they can very easily do that. So few IT companies, they have taken the control of the internet. That is again the problem. And they can censor the information. So security aspect, censorship of information, these are the major problems with the Web 2. In order to understand Web 3 very well, we need to understand what is Web 2, what is Web 1, and what are the problems associated with it. And then we can very well, with that context, we can understand the Web 3 as well. So now let's understand what is Web 3 and what makes it important. So let's talk about this topic. What is Web 3? So this term was coined by Gavin Woods, who was one of the creator of your Ethereum blockchain. So he used this term, Web 3. Now, Web 3 is not only blockchain. This is the common confusion in the minds that Web 3 is equivalent to blockchain. Blockchain is one of the technology used in Web 3. So when we talk about Web 3, so we generally say that it is going to be accessible to everyone. So instead of your data being stored in the server, in a centralized server, your data will be owned by you. So Web 3, the basic tenet of Web 3, like it will be hosted on the blockchain. Blockchain will serve as the database. It will keep track of any change or whatever is the data transfer. It will keep track of that. That is your Web 3. Now, it's a decentralized web. So as I already discussed, Web 1 is read only. Web 2 and Web 3, they are read and write. In Web3, one more thing is added, that you can own the data as well. You can do the execution. So for example, in Web3, you are able to basically execute, you are able to create your own tokens. You are able to create your own cryptocurrency. So that is again the feature of Web3. It's an internet financial layer. Also identification layer. So here, when we talk about identification, so here you are identified not by your, let's say, IDs or whatever is the document. Rather, you are identified by your account address. So Web3, when we talk about why actually it was created, so it was simply created in the response of failure of Web2 in protecting your data and the selling of data for the private gain. So that was the huge failure of the Web2. And in that response, the Web3 is created. Now, using Web3, the producers or any artist, they can own their creation. So for example, now they these days, let's say if you are creating any content, you are let's take an example of YouTube. Now you are the owner of your content, you are using YouTube, but YouTube will take a fair cut in your income, and you are not going to own that data because YouTube will be the owner of that data. Now, in case of Web3, you can take the ownership of both platform as well as the content which you are going to host on it. So basically, it's a patronage model. It is going to set up the governance structure which is run by the crowd's wisdom. Obviously, it's not completely decentralized. Still, we use APIs and all which are centralized, but again, you can say it is incremental decentralization. So it's referring to the decentralized web. Now here you can access the blockchain through various like wallet. You can use any wallet. One of them is MetaMask, and basically you can store your data. There are various decentralized storage technologies, like you have IPFS, which is interplanetary file storage, which works like your BitTorrent, and you have RB. There are various decentralized storage platform where you can store your data. So that's how the Web3 work. When we talk about Web 2 and Web 3, as we already, when we talk about Web 1 and Web 2, they are generally limited to your read, and Web 2 is Web 2 is limited to read and write. However, your Web 3 goes a step ahead, where you can basically you can just create economy through it. It's a financial layer. So here, when you talk about the protocols which were being used in Web 2 were TCP. ITCP is transfer control protocol. Then you have internet protocol, SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. Then you have hypertext transfer protocol. So basically, these are the protocol for data transfer. So here, in case of Web 1 and Web 2, now basically the users can contribute to the content, but they are not the owner. And in Web 2, what happens is, let's say if you are, there is a saying that if you have something for free, then you are the product, or you are the like target for that. So let's say if you are consuming a free video, so you are basically the product there, because if you are using that, so definitely basis on that, your data will be taken off, and then you will have the customized ads and all those things. So here in Web 3, you have the ownership. So the creators, operators, users, they can own the platform. So Web3 is a platform economy. So if we talk about Web3 from a layman perspective, so it's simply that you will have the opportunity to create your own platforms. You will have the opportunity to own your content, all these things. So when we say it's an online financial layer, so first of all, we should understand that internet has already made the knowledge very affordable, accessible, and replicable. Now, here, if we talk, we compare it to money and property. So it is in contrast. It's very difficult to obtain, and there are supply constraints. So when we talk about this Web3 as a financial layer, so we do have bank, credit cards, and payment processor. They validate the transaction, but then they take a fair cut. And this double spend dilemma is simply that you can use the same digital currency more than once. Now, double spending can be avoided using the blockchain. So you can just simply track the ownership using the blockchain. You can have the security mechanism in place using the concept of cryptography, hashing, and all. So this double spending can be avoided by using the blockchain technology. The identification layer. So again, when we talk about identification layer, so when we say the identification, so in early protocols, so there is lack of public and open source identifying layer. In Web3, you can control your own identity. So you have the choice to share data or not to share data. So here, simply, we have the identity on Ethereum. What is that identity? You can have the account name. So for example, you can have the name as, let's say, abc.eth. That is your identity. Also, in Web3, that identity can transfer to another networks as well. So one single Ethereum address can identify you on various other platforms. So you can also have the on-chain attestation. On-chain means on the blockchain, you can have the attestation of your government IDs and all. But that is again a long-term play. So you can have that as well. So that is about the identification layer. You are identified on the blockchain by your account address. So this is about your Web3. Let's continue this Web3, like why it is important. So let's talk more about it. So we'll continue with that. Now, when we say Web3 is created in response to social network failure, what is the failure? So failure is we do have the major entities like your Facebook, YouTube, they control most of your data and they generally push the information. There is no pull factor, there is a push factor. So basically, they push information, and here, rather than having that pull from the sources that control their data, we have the push mechanism. So for example, any application which you use these days, they can get your personal information. If even without your consent, how, let's say if you are signing in with your Facebook or your Google, then you are parting away with your personal information. So that's another reason. So again, that is why these social media network like Instagram, Facebook, all all of them, they have such a dominant position in the market. Everything from ads to the network and all, this is being controlled by them. So information is also, your information is compromised as soon as you agree to platform's terms and service. So when you just check that box saying, I agree to platform's terms and service, you are giving your crucial information. So Web3 is created in response of that, where right now there is extractive user platform relationship where they are focusing on just extracting the data. Here in Web3, you are free to decide what information you want to reveal or what information you don't want to share. All these things are decided by the participant in the Web3. That is what Web3 is. And again, when we say you in Web3, the participant can take the ownership. What do we mean by that? So generally the content creator, wherever they are hosting the content, that platform becomes the owner. So here, in case of Web3, you can write your own code to mint the NFT or even to create an NFT marketplace. Like you can create your token, which can be used in your various games, apps. So you are the creator. Even for the artist, they basically, they can create NFT and they can create it on NFT marketplace. The one which we just saw, which was your OpenSea. So again, there are tokens which are used by the applications to reward the participants and for decision makers. There is a patron model. What is a new patron model? So basically, here generally in platforms you have like your Twitch and all. So what they do is they give the flexibility to the user to make money directly from their followers rather than having that ad based monetization and all. So but the producers are not the owners of the content. So here we do have platform like your Substack, Ghost and all those. So basically they make money directly from readers for authors and generalists. But again, here you don't have the ownership based connection. Now with the usage of NFT, what you can do is artists can directly access the marketplace and they can have their own patrons or supporters. So the tokens, or you can say even the Ethereum address, ENS, they can be also used. And here you can have the payment method for the various artists so that they can engage with their fans on any platform, which is a Web3 platform. So it creates a kind of a patron model. Now, another is that it's very easy to set up cooperative governance on Web3. So we have studied already the concept of DAO. So what is DAO? Decentralized autonomous organization, where various entities participate and they are the owners, or you can say they are the decision makers of the company. There is no top-down hierarchical structure where you do have CEO, CTO and all. You do have the participant that they combine their decision-making power. So here we do have the capability in Web3 where we can set up DAO that is simply governed by your the members. So we do have various DAO, like you have Maker DAO, you do have DAO for your Sushi Swap, Pancake Swap. These are all examples of DAO. And in layman terms, you can just understand DAO as a chat room with bank account. So you do have people who interact, so kind of a social club. Then they can take decisions, they can raise money, all these things they can do. So they can share their resources. So that is what is the usage of Web3 in terms of setting up the cooperative governance and the ownership structure. So yeah, this is about the one aspect of Web3. Let's talk about the other aspect of Web3. So let's understand what are the things that are going to make Web3 very, very important. So first thing is the ownership. So again, here you own your data. You have decentralization where there is no single authority which is going to control your data. Obviously, we'll have the reputation model. We do have identity. We do have security and privacy since it is built on the top of blockchain. We have censorship resistance and we have automation as we have the feature of smart contract. So when we talk about ownership, so we already discussed the limitation of Web1 and Web2. You are not the owner of your data. So here the primary objective of Web3 is the ownership of your data. So the participant, they will be given the option to allow, cancel, or alter the access to their data. So they will be in the authority to allow others how they can access their data. And it's not required to disclose their information in order to access any platform. So Web3 almost solves the problem of the data security, not to the 100%, but yes, to the 90% it solves that problem. And here it provides user the control and the ownership of their identities. For example, in Web2, you sign in with your accounts and all. In Web3, you can simply sign in with your address, which you can have. Now talking about the decentralization. So when we say decentralization, so it's simply the Web3 as a concept. It is built on the top of the blockchain. So we do have the peer-to-peer network. So here it is simply capable of taking the decision based on the participants. Web3 is definitely more secure and interactive. Why? Because you don't have one single entity involved. You have multiple you can say computers or nodes involved. So it is very robust. There is no single point of failure. When we talk about reputation, so since we can own the data, so the content will include the signature of the author. Voting system can be used to evaluate the particular content. Reviewers can also receive the compensation for their review. So for now, what happens if you review something? Generally, you don't have anything in return. Even the content creator, so they earn based on the platform where they are hosting their content, and the platform remains the owner. So the content creator, reviewer, they can basically receive incentives. And here, users' reputation is decided by what kind of content they are producing or approving. So users will be influenced to maintain their integrity and to produce high quality content through a reputation based system. So that is what the reputation based system is. Again, identity. So here, what is identity? Simply it confirms your personality. So digital identity, like for example, is simply like in physical world, you do have identity cards like passport, bank cards, and all those things. Digital identity is simply you can create it using various Web3 platform, and you can validate your identity. You can just log into various website and platform with the help of your Web3 ID. So simply your privacy and your data can be protected by using single Web3 identity. When we talk about security and privacy, so here your Web3 is built on the top of blockchain. So definitely it's going to take the features of the blockchain, like it's tamper proof, and it's very secure as it uses the cryptographic algorithms and all those things. So here the the security aspect and the privacy aspect is taken care by blockchain. It is going to store the identities and all those hashes of the data. So that's how it is going to provide the security and privacy. Also, there is a censorship resistance. When we talk about censorship resistance, so there is no one single authority which can change the data. So here you can simply have a voting system which is going to decide the any change, or if any kind of decision has to be taken on the data, that has to be taken collectively rather than to be taken by one single authority. Automation is a basic feature. Why? Because you have the feature of smart contract. So this smart contract feature automates most of the functioning. So automation is that in the transaction creation, or like simply you can have all the policies of DAO being coded in the smart contract. So that is again the automation part. All the decisions or the change in any policy, that can also be coded in the form of smart contract. So this brings the automation element to your Web3. So this is in nutshell about Web3. Web3 is all about decentralization, security of your data privacy, ownership of your data, creation of platform economy. So this is in just about Web3 and what exactly is going to make it important. If there are any questions so far, please let me know. All right. So I hope till here we are clear on this, that we are aligned on the topics. We are going through the overview of the technologies which are involved in Web3, like your blockchain, DeFi, DAO, NFT. We talked about metaverse. We talked about Web1 and Web2 in order to understand Web3 better. And now let's talk about the core ideas of Web3. So when we talk about the core ideas of Web3, so we do have certain things which make it stand out, which is verifiable. It's self-governing, it's trustless, it's much more robust. You don't have any permissions involved. You do have built-in payment, and it's stateful. Now let's talk about each of the ideas separately. So when we talk about verifiable, so it is going to use the algorithm to verify the data on the blockchain. So it is, as we already discussed, this Web3, the technology is built on the top of blockchain, and in the blockchain, for any decision, you need to take the approval from all the participants, all the nodes in the network. So in case of any malicious action, the member can basically flag the transaction and it can render it as invalid. So the transaction will go through only when majority of members, they approve a transaction. Then we have this self-governing feature. So here, the users are going to be you can say be in charge of their own data or their whatever platform they are involved in. They are going to be involved in the governance of it. So for example, here they have the right of vote. So they can basically vote on the changes, or if there is any new policy which has to be created. So the users are involved in that. Trustless. Again, when we talk about trustless, so here the members are interacting directly rather than going through intermediaries. So technology is replacing that part of intermediary and enabling the involved parties to interact with each other directly. So they are not trusting. Why we trust banks? So they are the intermediary. So we trust that, okay, if we are having some fund transfer, we have that trust that through intermediaries, we will be able to transfer that safely. But then that intermediary is charging you for that trust. And also there can be some loopholes there, and that intermediary is going to control your data as well. Here, in case of Web3, you are not trusting any intermediary, you are trusting the technology. You don't need any permission as well here. So it allows participant without going through any central authority, or let's say you don't have to take any kind of permission for entering into Web3. You just need an internet connection and a wallet to store your cryptocurrency. So users can simply do the transaction, and they can basically eliminate the need of any kind of paperwork. And in Web3, you do have built-in payment facility. So where you can basically conduct the payments. In generally, what happens is in the payment system, like your PayPal, wire transfer, they charge you they charge you significantly for the transfer of funds and all, and it is a time-taking process as well. In Web3, generally that transfer is done without any intermediary, and also it is much faster. So just you can do it within seconds by just enabling the transfer through your wallet. Then comes the point of distributed and robust. So it's much more robust in the sense that we will be having this entire ecosystem built on the blockchain, which is decentralized on its own. So the decentralization part makes sure that it is very robust. Even if 1 or 2 node will go down, still you will be able to do the transfer, as there is no single point of failure. So that's the purpose of having the distributed and robustness feature. Now, this is the one of the idea, and then the another is the statefulness. So basically, the blockchain, it allows the network to save the transaction data which takes place in the network permanently. So data is stored on a digital ledger, and that data is stored chronologically. When we say chronologically, let's say if I am doing one transaction, my data will be saved, and then if next transaction will come, then that timestamp will be recorded. So details will be there of sender, receiver, the time at which that transaction occurred. So the state tracking mechanism is there. Every participant can track the time or track the data, whatever transaction happened on the ledger. So that is the idea of statefulness. So these are the core ideas of Web3. Please let me know if there are any questions so far. Anything you would like to share? All right. So let's talk about the Web3. How does Web3 works? So now, so far, we have already talked about what makes Web3 important, what is the difference between Web1, Web2, Web3, the ideas behind Web3. Now, how actually this Web3 works? So basically, the backbone is blockchain. So it is going to enable the Web3 to establish a decentralized database, and all the network activity can be tracked easily by the participant and the public. So here, the decentralization element, it helps the participant to access various services on the network. Let's say you have a centralized banking system. So you don't have that transparency involved in that. You cannot track everything. Here, in case of blockchain, every transaction data is going to be uploaded in the ledger. And that transaction will have the unique hash, which will be tamper-proof as well. So participant can track the information about any transaction, and that generally happens. So you can see we do have, like for public blockchain, we do have various platforms. Like for Ethereum, we do have the Etherscan. So this is one of the platform, Etherscan. So here you can see, you can simply track all the latest transactions. So the hash of it, in which block it gets added, from which account it got initiated, and what was the value involved, what was the fee and everything. So it's verifiable, you can track that. So that's the thing. So you can track the information about any transaction, what all transactions are there in a particular block. You can track that as well. So that is how it works. Then you have nodes. What are nodes? Nodes are simply the computers or the users which are connected in a peer-to-peer network. So basically, these nodes are responsible for the governance and the security. So here, basically, the users are going to participate in the consensus in order to basically approve the changes or validate any transaction. Now that consensus can be anything. It can be proof of work, it can be proof of stake, proof of activity. So there are various consensus algorithm involved. Consensus is simply the way of arriving at a decision in a distributed network or a decentralized network. So here, what happens is, in case of node, in the very beginning, I showed you one diagram where I created multiple nodes, and each node carried the ledger, copy of ledger. So this decentralization will distribute the ledger rather than being on one single computer. It is going to distribute the ledger on each node or the computer involved. Then the cryptocurrency. So instead of trading in dollars or euros or pounds, Web3 supports the payment through cryptocurrency and the tokens. So here, what happens is, the cryptocurrency, usage of cryptocurrency make it much faster to deal in financial service. And every transaction has to fulfill some rules which are written on the smart contract so that it can be approved. So there is no need of intermediary as such. So that's the another point. And here Web3 is going to establish a alternate payment gateway. So when you see the Bitcoin white paper, it states that it's a peer-to-peer decentralized cryptocurrency. So it's a kind of a payment mechanism. So also this payment mechanism gives you the feature of anonymity. So you are not identified by your name or something, you are identified by your account address. Then we have crypto wallet. So I showed you one example of the wallet, which is MetaMask. So this is how your crypto wallet looks like. Let me open it. So here, let me show you. This is one example of wallet. So here you can see we have the option of buying, sending. Since I'm on a test network, not on a mainnet. Main network is the actual Ethereum network, and then you have testing network just to test some of your crypto, like your transaction and all. So this is a test network. In main network, you do have the feature of buying cryptocurrency, sending cryptocurrency, swapping. You have the concept of bridge as well. These are all the concepts, and you can also store your NFT and all in the wallet. So in your wallet, you do have various accounts where you can store your cryptocurrency, you can store your various NFTs and all assets. So this is the example of wallet. So again, in case of the crypto wallet, you don't need any KYC. KYC is know your customer formalities, where in all, let's say if you are going to any bank, you need to do KYC formalities where you submit various IDs and all. But here you don't have to do any KYC to open the account. So crypto wallet is going to contain a public key and a private key. What is public key and private key? So my account address, so this account address is public key, which is known to everyone. But the password which I use to log in to this account is my private key. So just imagine if we have to talk about it in simple terms. So in generally, let's say if you want to send an email, so you need to know the email of your friend to whom you are sending the email. So that email address is the public key. But then you need, in order to read your email, your friend has to log in into their email ID. So for that, the password becomes the private key. So that is what is crypto wallet is going to have a public key and private key. That is what it means. Only the wallet owner can get access to the private. Obviously, you will be having the access to your password. And public key will be definitely your account address is going to be visible to everyone. So sender, maybe like let's say if I have to send some cryptocurrency to you, so I should know your account address, the public key of your wallet, which is your address, right? So that is how the crypto wallet is being used. So these are some of the working mechanism of Web3. If there are any question, thought, comments so far, please let me know. All right. Let's talk about challenges which are associated with Web3. So every technologies, whenever there is a technology, every technology has their own pros and cons. So same thing applies here as well. We do have certain challenges which are associated with Web3. When we say decentralized, obviously this is not 100% decentralized. So most common challenges, the accessibility, interoperability, legality, then you have expenses and the technical incompatibility. Let's dive deep into each of this pointer. Accessibility. So if you are a Web2 user, it's very, very difficult to migrate to Web3. Why? Because firstly, Web3 interface is a little challenging for new user to comprehend. So that's again the accessibility barrier. So these applications, maybe you can take the example of decentralized exchange, marketplace, NFT marketplace. These applications take time to basically for the user. It takes a little while to understand it. So that kind of accessibility is the constraint. Interoperability. So Web3, in order to have the faster transaction, have that feature of affordability, they rely on some centralized API. Now that results in insecurity. So it also stops user from owning their asset in multiple blockchain. That is a constraint on interoperability. Let's say you have some project on Solana blockchain, and there you own some NFT, and then you want to trade that NFT on any other application which is built on Ethereum blockchain. So that interoperability constraint is still there. Then technical barriers. So Web3 definitely involves the usage of advanced technology. Now, also the integration with the existing system is very, very difficult. So that again increase the cost. Also, to integrate Web3 into business logic, into business workflow, the system has to be upgraded, the compatibility has to be checked. All these things bring the element of the cost. And in order to maintain the decentralization element, the same data is replicated on multiple computers. That again brings the issue of data storage. It further increases the expense and the cost. Regulation and compliance, again, in order to have the Web3 system in place, you need hand-holding from expert, from industry expert. So that is again the limitation. And then there is development complexity. So the design of the consensus algorithm, the smart contract creation, all this involves learning new language. Creation of consensus means building a foolproof algorithm. All this adds to the complexity in development of Web3 ecosystem. Then reliance on cryptocurrency. So generally in Web3, you have cryptocurrency as the payment method. Now, here the cryptocurrency is very volatile. Generally, they are volatile. Now, imagine if they fail, the entire ecosystem might collapse. So that is the challenge. And it's a kind of a huge challenge, because by now the cryptocurrency, it depends on demand and supply. And we have seen various failures of cryptocurrency in past. So that is the challenge which is associated with Web3. If there are any questions, thoughts, comment, please let me know. We are open to discussion on anything which is related to what we have studied so far. All right. So if there are no questions, let's move ahead. We'll talk about Web3 stats and trends.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so now my question is with these cryptos on the bridge, right? There is hacking, there is fraud. When we are transacting between two different exchange or two different chains, how do we
Yes.
protect our clients, or how do we protect ourselves? Because this is one area that is in infancy, and security is a very, very big concern at the moment.
Yes.
Cybersecurity, data security, even our own identity being stolen is a concern. How
Yes.
can any blockchain company or a Web3 company protect me as a customer, or a, as a visitor will be, on their platform, protect? Because see, I will be using maybe my fingerprints or my biometrics. How
Yes.
can a company protect our identity?
Yeah, so that's a very valid question, and thank you for asking that question. So basically, for protection, there are few aspects. So firstly, the protocol which is being used, what cryptographic algorithm they are using. First is that thing. What is the consensus feature they are using? And thirdly, there is a concept of oracle. Oracle is simply blockchain by its very nature is isolated. How they are actually getting the real-time data. So following like how securely they are building their oracle services. So these all things are there which can be kept in mind. Apart from that, the data which is coming from the user, the APIs which they are using. So these all things any company has to keep in mind for the security aspect. So firstly, the blockchain protocol which they are using. Secondly, the storage which they are opting for. So even when we talk about DeFi, so there is a centralized finance also which is there on the blockchain, where your data is stored on a centralized network. Now there is a central authority which is controlling your data. Now, then there is a concept of DeFi where it is the data is stored on a decentralized network. So it depends on that what all protocol a company is deciding for the functioning of their application. So that's the major crux of that.
Thanks for the explanation. That actually put a lot of things in perspective. Now, another question I have is, which is the most secure blockchain or Web3 platform for a user that they can build their products on?
Okay, that is a tricky one, because when we say most secure, so this technology is still in its infancy. So I would say the solutions which are built on the Ethereum, they are mostly secure. The new blockchains which are there, they are still under development. They have certain features which can compromise your security. So generally, the blockchain like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they are considered as the safest ones, and the applications which are built on the top of it. For example, Uniswap is built on the top of Ethereum blockchain. It's considered one of the most popular decentralized exchange. So that's the answer for that.
Okay, thank you. How about Avalanche?
Yes, that is again, that's what I'm saying. It depends on, you have to basically as a user, you have to decide basis on your use case, because maybe if your priority is speed of the transaction or efficiency of your transaction, you might go with the level 2 solution, or you might go with these blockchain like Solana and all. But then if your priority is that, okay, my data should be more secure, or that, like it depends on the priority of the user.
Okay.
Yeah, it's based on use case.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. All right, so let's move ahead. If there are any questions, please let me know so far. Okay, so Web3 starts and trends, we'll talk about that in a brief, and then we will move ahead with the core topic, which is the community part. So let's talk about. We will be talking about the research statistics by Vantage. So basically, the blockchain market is divided into three broad areas. One is the type, another is application, and third is the vertical. So when we talk about type, so blockchain is divided into three types. One is public, another is private, and you have consortium. So what is public? So Ethereum, Bitcoin, they are public blockchain. Anyone can enter. Then you have private blockchain. So let's say if a bank, let's say a Bank of Scotland decides to create their own blockchain for data storage purpose, that will come as your private blockchain. Then you have consortium blockchain or hybrid blockchain. So consortium, first of all, let's talk about that. So consortium is simply when group of organizations, so let's say group of healthcare organization, they decide to keep all their data on the blockchain, or the group of education institution. So that is your consortium blockchain. So Corda is the example by R3. So Corda is simply the consortium of banking institution. So that is the consortium blockchain. Even your Hyperledger Fabric by Linux Foundation, it comes under your consortium blockchain. And then you have hybrid, which utilizes the feature of public and private based on the use case. These are the types of blockchain. Then you have the application. So what are the applications of blockchain? So you have the payment feature like DeFi. Then you have smart contract, you have the transaction storage, you have cryptocurrency. So these are the application. And then we have verticals, or you can say segments where it is used, like your retail, your healthcare, your IT, all these things. So it is expected that between to 2021 and 2028, it is going to expand by 41.6 when we consider all these segments. So this is the expansion growth, expected growth. Now, talking about the market growth. So again, the market value of metaverse is going to be $678 billion by 2030. So all of this is indicating towards how this technology is going to grow in future. Even we see metaverse. So this McCann World Group, they have basically and they are anticipating that 2 billion people will be using metaverse for their daily work, for shopping, for socializing. We are already seeing a lot of buzz in this area. Every industry is coming up with their use case of metaverse. And again, in last year, March, Dubai, they have enacted their new cryptocurrency law. So again, that's how the growth is there. And when we talk about metaverse, so according to this Microsoft Work Trend Index, 51% of Gen Z and 48% of millennials, they plan to undertake some of the work in metaverse domain. Already we have seen many organizations, they have started having their meetings and all in the metaverse. We do have various recreational spaces in metaverse. So again, another study by Statistica, they they basically they are asking the participants like whether they will be open to try activities in metaverse which they have never tried in their real life. So 38% they have responded saying that they would like to try the activities which they don't have the courage to do it in their real life, like your bungee jumping, paragliding, all these things. So that is again another study. And according to the study by UTA as well, 87% of Americans, they will be interested in participating in a virtual experience. And that is actually, we are right now witnessing the huge growth in these virtual spaces. So like the events being conducted on Metaverse, all the marketing campaigns being conducted in Metaverse. So that is the response on Metaverse. When we talk about NFT, again, it's like a huge buzzword. In past, we have seen various instances of NFT price being skyrocketing. And again, you do have various research which is supporting that. So we do have data from chain analysis. So they said that over 37 billion have been spent in NFT market. And according to a national research group, 64% of sports fans are interested in understanding more about NFT and how like they can get it. So when we talk about DAO, so we do have the combined value of all DAO tokens around 21 billion as of Jan 2022. So we do have various DAO example and their market capitalization has increased. The DAO like a Uniswap, a Maker, Curve DAO. So these are the famous DAO we have. So this is some of the statistics around the Web3 and the trends which we are witnessing. Definitely the trend is very positive around NFT, Metaverse and blockchain technology. There are concerns. There is no denying the fact that there are concerns, but yeah, with the time, these things will definitely improve. Now we will touch upon the module of the community. What is on the community? What is its relevance? So let's talk about online community. So first of all, when we talk about community, so it's simply the community is focused on a particular topic. It refers to the group of people that are those are like getting connected online. So here, if we talk about, is there any similarity between social media and online community? So online community, they are centered on one particular topic. However, your social network, they are just simply providing you the information. They are giving you the scrolling feed of content, the advertisement and all. However, your online community is focused on one single topic. For example, let's say fan community, any educational community. So these are the example of community. Now there are three basic group of people. So there are three components. So one is community member, another is community participant, and then you have admins of the community. So when we talk about community member, so every member has a specific role. So here there are two kind of interactors. One is frequent, another is infrequent. So both are important for any community. Frequent participants, they provide the ideas and all. Infrequent one, they generally give comments and they basically talk about those ideas. So as a trend in general, it is seen that approximately 20% of members in any community, they are frequent interactors, and most of the rest of the 80%, they are basically generally they are not that frequent. But those 20% of frequent interactor, they are responsible for almost 80% of the interaction. So that is what the significance of frequent interactor. But infrequent interactors are also very important because they are the ones who are providing the comments, and they are further providing the content on those ideas, the conversation on those ideas. So then when we talk about the visitors, those who just drop by a community and they are not actively involved, so they are still deriving the value from the community by learning from the other members, by getting inspired from other members. Also, they are using the community content, and they basically develop the link footprint, which basically is going to raise the search ranking of the community. That is again the benefit of it. Then we have the admins of the community. So we do have two kind of admins here. One is community manager, another is community moderator. They basically are responsible for maintaining the vitality of the community. Now, community manager is going to be the responsible for the engagement of the community. Moderators are basically for maintaining the discipline. They monitors the adherence to the rules and all. So that is what is the role of moderator. Now, what are the advantages? So basically, what can be the advantage? So best advantage is that instead of consuming the information online, like navigating through thousands of the websites, you get the consolidated content on a particular topic in the community, and you are able to connect with like-minded people who are sharing the knowledge. For example, I don't know anything about NFT. Best way is to join some community on NFT. Now I will have connection with the people who either want to learn about NFT or they are already very knowledgeable. So again, the connection, I'm connecting with right people by joining a community. So you are not spending your time in searching on Google, rather than you are joining a community where you are connected to like-minded people, you are learning with them, you are getting inspired from them, you are sharing your knowledge gained so far as well. So that's how the community is important. If there are any questions around it, please let me know.
Just out of curiosity, Priya again. I'm just seeing, news articles where, or, LinkedIn posts where they say Meta has told that metaverse is dead. Quite a few companies, big, large companies are talking about it. And whereas as a blockchain and Web3, you can say I'm from the ecosystem, right? So I'm into business operations. So I see that there's a lot of opportunity with the metaverse. So what do you think is actually going on? Is metaverse going to become obsolete, or are they going to stop using it? Or is it now it is too early and later people will join?
Yes, so let me take that question. So see, every technology has its own highs and low cycle. That applies to every technology, but that will not negate its importance. I will say the metaverse is something which is going to have an upward trajectory always, because right now adoption pace is very slow. People are engaging in metaverse mostly for the fun side of it, rather than like realizing its utility. It's drastically going to change how we are engaging in social spaces. It's drastically going to change how the virtual offices will work, and how the virtual event will take place. The marketing side, the sales side, it is going to change. So definitely it's not going anywhere. In fact, these few like months back, we were hearing that blockchain industry is going to be towards the low side of it, and it's not a robust technology. We heard a lot about it, but still we see a lot of development. So it's in infancy, and people are still adopting it. We see a lot of development. It's improving day by day. If you talk about metaverse, earlier, two years back, when you see metaverse, it was just like a kind of gamified version, or it was not at all that professional. But now you see the metaverse and its improvement, how avatars have changed, how they can actually replicate the movements and all. So there is a word of difference, there is a word of improvement in the technology. So it's definitely going to be towards upward trajectory only.
Yeah, help me understand this. I see two things, right? When I see people talking about metaverse, there is one metaverses where few companies like, on spatial or some companies where they have avatars, which look like, a superhero kind of a version look. But there is on the other side, I see animated kind of things. So when I see this animation things, I feel, is Web2 trying to tell us that they're building it on metaverse and using animation? What exactly is happening there? This is a thought that comes to my mind. Could you help me clear this confusion?
Yeah, sure. So when you talk about animation side of it, so basically when we talk about metaverse, so metaverse is built on the top of the technologies like AR, VR, your blockchain and all. So animation side of it, so metaverse is not restricted to one single space. If I'm getting your question correctly, so it's widely used in gaming. So your AR, VR, these are all aspects are coming from gaming itself. So there is the element of that animation involved in that for more immersiveness. But when we talk about avatars and all, that is towards human side of it. How I can, without taking like having the worry of how I look, I can enter a meeting with my avatar in a confident way. So it's a human side, I would say, of metaverse we are exploring there. So
So even if they are looking like these, the gaming animation, it's still okay to consider them as a as built on metaverse, right?
yes, definitely, because metaverse by its nature, it's the experiences are derived from the gaming platforms. So AR, VR, they are essentially generally they are built on Unreal or Unity. They are game development engines, but then we are exploring the human side of it. That is how we are having so many improvements these days. If you see metaverse, if you compare the metaverse which were built 1 year back and just you see the metaverse which are being created these days, there is a world of difference.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
The other question that I had with metaverse was the gaming and something. I can't I forgot about it. Let me just think.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. I have done, we were doing a trial on spatial to do a event or to do a trial, right? Because this is what currently we're looking at. Because there are communities asking for an introduction and they want to see it. But what we observe is a restriction to 50 participants or can we do more than 50?
So you are talking about that spatial platform,
Spatial.
where there is a restriction on number of parties. That is actually the platform dependent. If you are asking me, there is a cap on number of participants. So various platform, like if you want to conduct an event on Decentraland, there is a capping. So various platform, they do have different cappings. Some of why the capping is there, because concurrent number of concurrent user they can support is limited. Why? Because the technology is still evolving. So yeah, so that's the reason you cannot have, let's say, 500 participant in the event, because the number of, because it's it's not capable of, for now it's not capable of supporting those many concurrent user in the space.
Okay, because we are planning to have an an event on this on the metaverse, but only thing is we're not confident about going all out and talking about it, because if more people join, then the platform won't support, and then once people drop off, then it's going to be again like what's happening with the metaverse. People are disappointed and then they go back and then they never turn up.
Yeah, so that's an issue. The number of concurrent user it supports, they are limited for every platform right now. But yes, the technology is evolving. We never know, within 2-3 months this will be fixed.
Yeah, that is a possibility.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. So yeah, with this, we are done with our online community part, and next session onward, we will start with the community management part. We will be starting with the community management. We'll see how we can build community on Discord, Telegram, and we will understand the community from the domain perspective, like NFT, DeFi, NFT, DAO, and metaverse, and we will understand some tools and all. So that is going to be the flow for the next session. I apologize for the technical issue today. There were some technical issues. So because of that, we were delayed. That's why we didn't had a break in this session. Generally, we do have a break, but because of the technical issue, we skipped the break. Also, if there are any questions around today's session, please let me know, or anything you want to discuss. Else, we will wrap up for today. I'll be sharing a feedback form in the chat. I'll really appreciate if you can fill that before you leave the session.
I have a question. Will the recording be shared for today's session, because I joined late?
Yes, Priya, that will be shared. Yeah, the recording along with the PPTs will be shared.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. So I have already pasted the link for the feedback form in the chat. So in the link, you will be able to see the email. You have to enter your email, your course, which is your Web3 Community Expert course. And then you have the instructor name, and then you have the feedback part. And you can post your LinkedIn profile. If you have any comments, we'd love to hear that as well.
I think Web3 Community Expert is not here.
So you can just put it in others. I'll just inform the team on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have written my name in the chat.
Okay.
All right. So I hope all of the participants present, they have filled the feedback form. So we'll meet in next session. If you have any questions, please bring it to the next session. And if I'm open to discussion on anything you have in mind once we are done with our topics, which we have to cover tomorrow. So yeah, see you tomorrow then. Thank you for your time and patience. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.